I've always been curious to see how much time you'd actually save on a race run when you spend that bit of time doing a track walk, focusing on line choices and how you're actually riding your bike down the trail. So today I'm going to put that to the test. I'm going to do a blind run straight away, cold, no warm up, see what time I get, and then spend half an hour just looking down the track, choosing some line choices, finding different ways to ride my bike down the line to see how much time I can actually save. So my prediction is, I reckon we can save 2 seconds on the final race time by putting that extra prep in and making some changes. So let's have a go. Let's go straight into the run number 1. Let's go. Dropping into a very cold run number 1. I think there'll be some ice on the trail, so we'll have to be wary of that. Let's go. Dropping. Whoa! That is run number 1 complete. Didn't go as bad as I expected actually. They definitely made quite a few crucial mistakes which I think we can improve on and take quite a bit of time. So yeah, let's go straight into having a look down the track, choosing some different lines and seeing what I can improve to try and cut down that time as much as possible. This trail is quite short, but it has 4 pretty sweet individual sections, and it starts off with a short sprint into section number 1, the berms, which today are especially a bit technical because there is some ice on the face of the berm. So yeah, let's have a look and see what slight changes we can make to try and cut down on that time. I can see straight away one thing that I'm already going to change to help save me some time. I can see my line from run number 1. I'm entering this first berm quite low, pretty much where the leaves start, and if I commit to entering the berm slightly higher, because there is a patch where there's not ice just yet, then I think I'll be able to exit this turn earlier and enter this one higher without losing too much speed and without having to pull round as much, which will help me carry more speed shooting down that trail. Because at the moment, entering low, I can see my riding line is entering pretty much on this knuckle, and I'm kind of jumping into this next berm, which is going to be quite a hard impact. It's going to lose a lot of speed. Moving on to the next berm, we've got one more berm and then a tight weave around the trees into a jump into quite a technical little path crossing, because in these conditions and this very chalky dirt, it gets very slippy. So I think I've just got to do the same here, really focus on entering this berm as high as possible without committing to the ice, which looks like the middle line is actually available without ice, and then committing to that berm early, opening up the corner and really trying to cut as close to that birch tree as possible before going into that jump. I definitely think this is the riskiest part of this trail. This is definitely where the most can go wrong today, because you're coming off this jump and nothing is going in your favour. You're trying to turn on this off-camber chalky path which has a lot of hidden horizontal roots which perfectly are there to mess up your grip. So I think the plan is to push this jump as wide as possible, trying to land as close to and even on that bank preferably. If I can push it out really wide and land on that bank, I think it will open up this corner. I won't have to do as much turning here, and I can commit into a more straight direct line up this rock wall. There's a couple different line choices on this rock wall. You've kind of got an inside line which you could properly, I don't even think that's going to be worth talking about. With this tree and that rock there, you'd have to slow down so much to actually get through. So I think the main option is going to be bumping off of this rock right here and just hopping up over this stuff. And then the next thing to be wary of is there's a couple horizontal roots here, whereas I'm going to have to land an anchor to the right very quickly to make it into the root section. Whether I jump to the left of it and really anchor down and turn sharper for the corner, or I just commit and try and jump over it and take the inside line, I think the inside line looks the best so far. Now let's take a look at the next section, the routes. This is probably the most crucial section for this race run. I think this is where the most time difference could be made. I think I was actually quite lucky and took the best line on that first cold run. I think pushing it high and staying out of that bank there is definitely the best for this section. I think the only change I'll make is make sure to de-weight the bike and just hop a tiny bit over this route so I don't catch it and take away a bit more of my speed. And here's where they've got more choice. I think I'm gonna have to aim wide here and commit to this and be wary of this route, because I think if I can commit to going over this bank slightly, or either that, if my handlebars don't fit through, I might have to hop over the route. If I can commit to that, I have a lovely line into this where I can properly pump that and have a pretty open straight line. This I definitely made quite a crucial mistake on. I paused quite a lot here and stalled at the top before dropping in, so I think I'm just gonna have to put the pedals in. I think that's the main change to make here. Just make sure I keep that pedal pressure on going into the downhill. The next section is a very steep downhill into what are some quite small berms for the speed you'll be carrying into it. So I think my line was pretty good on that first run. I think I'm just going to mainly focus on properly committing, looking to the end of the berm, properly anchoring, leaning in, and making sure to stay on that lower portion of the berm as much as possible, because there's not much else to it. So I think if I can commit and carry my speed through those double berms, it's going to set me up really well for the final section, the jump section. This is the steep downhill that goes into the two berms, and I don't know if it will show up very well on camera, but there's actually 3 quite big knuckles going down, and I think if I just do the tiniest hop off the first one, I can probably gap it to this third one down here, which will help carry a bit more speed into the berms. And I can see from my line that I'm just dragging the brake a bit too much going into this berm, and I really can let go of the brakes a little bit earlier, commit a bit harder, because my line isn't actually really on the peak of the berm. It's right down here in the leaves, so I can definitely afford to push it up quite a bit higher. So yeah, and then this follows straight into this second berm, which I don't think there's much choice. There's another section going into the jumps where I just have to keep the pedals on and keep it pointing straight and keep that speed up, keep the momentum. And so you shoot down through that little steep bit, and you've got quite a large roller here actually, which you definitely could pump for an extra bit of speed. On run number 1, I took the inside line, I went off this jump and tried to bank it into the main jump section, but with the ice and this chalky dirt, it was so slippy in that flat section that I just had to brake and slow down a lot for this section. So this time I'm going to try taking the wide line, properly anchoring into this berm, which I think will be a lot faster and will open up that jump and allow me to ride straight into those, which I could probably get a bit of scrubbing on the go. So yeah, let's get down to the final jumps and then getting close to the time for the race run. This trail ends with 3 jumps in very quick succession, and they're all not too big, but they're definitely squashable. This is going to be a very crucial berm, because this I stalled a lot on my first run. So I'm going to really just focus on entering high and forcing the bike to come out quite low and line up for the finish line. So yeah, we've had a look down the track, made some changes. I'm feeling confident. I reckon I've got that 2-second improvement on. I reckon it's possible. So yeah, I've had a look at all the sections of the track, and I'm definitely feeling like getting 2 seconds quicker might actually be possible, which would be pretty insane on a 40-second track. So let's head back up and go in for the final race run. Let's go. Heading up now for the final run, really trying to make sure that my head is in the game and trying to visualize each section of the track, which isn't that difficult on this short track, but trying to visualize every bit, remember the line choices I'm trying to make, so I can piece it together in one full run. So let's get up there and see how it goes. There's a bit of added difficulty today. With this cold weather, I've lost the feeling in my fingers, which will make it a bit more difficult on the race run, but that shouldn't impact me too much. So yeah, let's get into it. Final run. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh no! Oh, that was disappointing. That first section felt absolutely rapid. But then I just didn't look towards the end of the berm enough, didn't commit to it enough, and just kind of exited the berm a little bit early, which wrecked that run. But yeah, let's give it another go. It is so difficult to try and get the perfect run, especially since I've never really done any racing before. So I don't really have that mindset of riding really in me. I haven't practiced that very much. So this is a very fun thing to do for me, just to practice, and I'm quite keen to give some racing a go. So this is almost just a bit of prep to get in that racing mindset, practice what it would be like to do some race runs, and kind of learn from there before I actually commit to doing my first race, which I think should be soon. I was looking at the Forest of Dean one, that looks good. So this is partially just trying to help get my mindset ready for that, and ready to start some racing. So yeah, on that note, let's try and get this perfect run. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. That was a lot of fun. Spending some time choosing the best lines and sessioning sections to try and get the perfect lap. I'll only be able to tell when I get home and see the footage how much faster I actually was, or even if I was any faster. But yeah, this was a lot of fun and definitely gets me in the mood to do my first race, so that might come soon. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's go. 1, go. Whoa!